Do you ever wonder what people were thinking when watching Babe Ruth? To say, hey kid. Ken Griffey Jr.
I don't believe it!
Barry Bonds. Or even Mike Trout.
Trout at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch!
Or really any other player from any era that could be crowned the quote-unquote GOAT. Do you know what they were thinking? Every single time Aaron Judge walks up to that batter's box, what are you thinking? Because you may right now just be watching the greatest right-handed hitter of all time.
I remember what I was thinking back in 2022 after Judge broke the home run record. I couldn't believe a hitter could also win an MVP the same year that another player in that same league pitched to a 2.33 ERA while also putting up an 8.75 OPS. I remember thinking how long it would be until a player even comes close to beating this new record of 62 home runs. I remember thinking about how someday I will grumpily compare every star in my kids' generation, saying there will never be a player that compares to this year of Judge. But sadly, those hypotheticals will have to wait, because just 2 years later, a guy had a better season. That guy was 2024 Judge. But how is there a comparison? How could a player top a season where he had an OPS plus of 210?
Hi, are you unsure what OPS plus is? Yes. That's okay. Let me tell you. A neutral OPS plus is 100. So if a player has an OPS plus of 120, that makes them 20% better than the league average hitter. So Aaron Judge with a 171 OPS plus makes him 71% better than league average.
Every single year. Aaron Judge works tirelessly improving on existing issues. Every year, he's not letting any weaknesses linger. Want some examples? Cool. I am now going to explain how Aaron Judge became the perfect hitter. Ready? Alright, so I'm not even gonna front. Judge was pretty bad this season. Luckily, it only lasted 27 games, so it's not really a fair sample size. But let me have my underdog story, okay? He was rocking an extraordinary 179 batting average with a 608 OPS. That's not great. His main problem this year was, well, literally everything that wasn't a two-seam fastball or a changeup. Aaron Judge saw 34 total curveballs in 2016, and he hit a grand total of 0 of them. He struck out an abysmal 44.2% of the time in those 27 games and was clearly overmatched. The raw talent was still there, though, as he still crushed the ball when he did make contact. So after this trial run, the Yankees were hoping to make some adjustments and come back next year looking not so bad.
Also, can we talk about the fact that Aaron Judge wore long pants his entire season? It just looks weird, right?
The jump from that 27-game sample to his 2017 season is a jump that I doubt has ever really been seen before. He went from one of the worst hitters in the league to the literal best player in the American League. Yes, he was better than Altuve. I'm not getting into that any further besides the fact that he broke the rookie home run record by 3 home runs with 52. The reason for this incredible turnaround for Judge is very simple. He started wearing high socks. Do you remember that 0 batting average against curveballs? Suddenly, he had brought that average up to 293 with a 960 OPS against 194 of them. That strikeout rate was still pretty high at 30.7%. What stands out is he decreased his chase rate from 31.2% in 2016 all the way down to 22.8% in 2017, resulting in him leading the American League in walks. That, mixed with a few mechanical adjustments he made with his swing and stance, led to the creation of the superhuman we know as Aaron Judge.
A freak.
This season wasn't all butterflies and rainbows for Judgy, as he actually set the MLB record for most consecutive games with a strikeout at 37, and fell into one of the worst slumps of his entire career after that All-Star break, posting a 680 OPS in August. Of course, though, he returned to form in September, ending the year strong and breaking the rookie home run record. He also led the Yankees to a deep playoff run, which they ended up losing to in 7 games against the Astros. Judge's overall numbers in the season were incredible, hitting to a 171 OPS plus, along with being one of the best defensive right fielders in the game and posting an 8.1 WAR, one of the greatest rookie seasons in baseball history, bar none. Judge demolished fastballs in 2017, but the newest glaring issue is his failure to hit sliders, resulting in a 593 OPS on that pitch. A slider, FYI, is almost as commonly thrown as a fastball in our modern baseball. So this is an issue, and a lot of teams knew they could take advantage of it. So let's see how he handled that. In 2018, the slider was the second most commonly thrown pitch that he saw, but he kind of destroyed them, now putting up an 863 OPS, almost 300 points higher than the previous season. However, he played in just 112 games after a hit by pitch in a late July series when facing the Royals, where he received a chip fracture in his right wrist. Still though, that's a pretty large sample size, enough to understand that Judge made a very obvious change to his game, though he was striking out at a 30.5% clip. However, once more, there was a new problem with Judgy. Hitting changeups to a 590 OPS, he was now worse against his pitch than in 2017 against the slider. In 2019, Judge hit the slider decently with a 740 OPS, however, that changeup persisted in bothering him with a 640 OPS against it. A little better, but not great. That season, he was out for a similar amount of time as 2018, suffering an oblique strain in late April against the Royals. Again. Isn't that strange? It's a shame this happened 2 years in a row. It's even more of a shame that this started up the injury-prone narrative that would haunt him for years to come. I'm talking about you, John Smoltz. So, even though 2018 and 19 were shortened seasons, Judge still put up great numbers and showed Major League Baseball his 2017 wasn't a fluke, putting up a combined 146 OPS plus in those 2 seasons. Who cares? The 2021 season is Judge's worst full season, and it's not even close. Though he finished 4th in MVP with a 916 OPS and a 149 OPS plus, you'll see why it is in fact not crazy to say that as this video goes on. Not even able to surpass 40 homers this season, a looming injury-prone narrative, and 1 more year until free agency, questions started to appear asking, was 2017 his peak year? Was that Judge's best? How did he come back down to earth in that godly 2017 season? His problem with the changeup had gotten worse as Judge hit 163 against it, and teams were catching on as the percentage was thrown to him reached an all-time high. The Yankees then came in with an underwhelming $213.5 million extension for the next 7 years. That seems like a lot, but mind you, Corey Seager just received a 10-year, $325 million contract that same offseason. Bryce Harper signed a 13-year, $330 million contract just 2 years prior. Was Judge really worth $100 million less than these guys? Was he not worth keeping around those extra 3 to 6 years? What wasn't helping anything was that Judge had reportedly expressed to the Yankees wanting to keep his contract/extension talk private from the fans. So I'm sure it was shocking to then find out that the details of that extension had been leaked to the public by Yankees general manager Brian Cashman. Judge was not happy about this. He made it clear that if he were to deny the extension, there would be no more contract talks between him and the Yankees until the next offseason. If he says no, the Yankees would have missed their chance before Judge hits the open market. With all that pressure, and now the new fan awareness of this situation, Judge made his decision. He was betting on himself. In 1961, Roger Maris of the New York Yankees set the home run record of 61. That record lasted, ironically, 61 years in the AL until Aaron Judge decided to bet on himself. In the year of 2022, the entirety of MLB was forced to all rise to him breaking the AL record with 63 home runs. Oh yeah, we got more jokes. Side note, you will hear me call this the home run record this video. I am aware of the 73 home run record, the real home run record, but for the sake of the video, home run record rolls off the tongue way better, so just let me have this. This wasn't just the rookie home run record anymore. This was a record that any player who had ever played in the AL could have beaten.
The Yankees lose.
And Judge was the one to do it. Barring everything else I will say about future seasons, I truly believe that this season sums up his storybook career. Judge could have won MVP in 2017 because that rookie home run record wasn't historic enough. Okay, so how about he breaks the actual home run record in order to lock down that first real MVP award? It's a season that will have me like,
You have no idea how good Tim Duncan was. Oh my God.
for the rest of my life. There's nothing cooler in life when you know you're currently watching history. And this is what watching Judgy chase that record felt like. You wanted to take every moment in. For that last month of the season, Yankee Stadium would go quiet for every Judge at bat. Him breaking the record was one of those moments where you remembered where you were when you saw it. And it was all done on top of all the added pressures that come with chasing that free agent contract. There's this cliche. He's a human, just like me and you. He has his own family to take care of. That future contract he gets doesn't just affect himself. There's many people that rely on him. That is a lot of pressure, especially after denying $200 million. The Judge had even straight up said that there were times in early 2022 when he regretted not taking that 7-year, $213 million offer. So to me, that is the truly remarkable feat over all of this. That a man doesn't just perform under all that pressure, but excel. Now don't worry, I will go into the insanity that was his stats this season later on in the video. But before I do,
If you like this topic and want to see more of it, please do check out Foolish Bailey's 2022 Aaron Judge video. But stay in this one, please. Chill with that attention span.
I won't really delve too much into 2023 because he got injured. It was the start of another incredible season, and it was early June. This time, however, he was facing the Dodgers, not the Royals. And while making a great play, he tore his ligament in his right big toe, causing him to be out until late July. Judge came back, and it took him a bit of time to get going again, as he was playing through a good amount of pain. By season's end, he was still seen posting up another season with an OPS above 1,000. If you couldn't sense the trend so far, for this video, a perfect hitter will be pitch-proof. Meaning,
There isn't one pitch a pitcher can throw to him that he will struggle with.
there's no scouting report for a player like this, as hitting is an inevitable outcome. And I don't mean that this batter is at least decent against every pitch. I mean a hitter that crushes every pitch. Then comes in Aaron Judge in 2024 after an ejection at the end of April.
I think that's the first time he's ever been thrown out.
This season, he missed spring training, so that first month of April acted as a stand-in. I won't bore you with numbers from the stretch. I'll just say he was bad. But then the man had his first career ejection, and everything changed. He unlocked a new mode, and thus truly started his 2024 season. Can you guess what his lowest OPS was against any pitch in 2024? You're correct in assuming it was the curveball. That's so sweet that you're paying attention. You're wrong in assuming he did bad against it. Judge that season hit a curve for an .861 OPS. There were 6 pitches that Judge hit for over a 1 OPS. And before you say, well, I'm so sure this is common for every hitter that hits over 1 dot. Go look at every Mike Trout season. Every season he's mid against at least 1 pitch.
Also, FYI, this is the season where people more or less stopped calling Judge injury prone. A player is injury prone when their consistent injuries consist of soft tissue injuries. That typically means pulling or straining a muscle. When Judge broke that bone in his wrist during the Royals series, you wouldn't really count that towards the injury prone narrative. That would be unfair. It was around this season people stopped referring to Judge as injury prone, and the world was a much better place for it.
Now, we shall get into more stats in a second, but just to preface, no records may have been broken this season. But if records are meant to be broken, how could you look at that over hard stats? I think you see where I'm going with this. Comparing each WAR, 2024 season Judge had a higher WAR. So yeah, that was a better player. Look, if I'm being honest, both of these seasons are really hard to compare, so finding a way to do so was a little tough. What I came up with, however, was treating 2022 and 2024 Judge as 2 separate players, players A and B.
And now I'm going to choose who I would think would win an MVP race between the two. Sound fun? Alright, let's go.
Start out with some basic stats. Okay, so that's a lot of numbers. The first big difference is plate discipline. Player A has significantly more walks, a better walk percentage, and a lower chase rate. On top of that, his slugging was 15 points higher in 2024 than the year that he broke the AL home run record. Now, I know what you're thinking. How is it fair that I'm not including the record in my decision? That's a huge accomplishment, and I'll put it simply. In 50 years, when our kids look back on Judge, like we today look back on Mickey Mantle, I would say there's a shot by then that the AL home run record, hell, even the MLB home run record could have been broken. They're gonna say, wow, he was so good in 22 and then had even better stats in 24.
Judge's 2024 is more impressive, and I will die on that hill. He put up these numbers while being an everyday center fielder.
At 6'7", 282 pounds. That is not easy to do at his size. So if I was deciding my vote, I'm locking in player A,
aka 2024 Judge. Remember how I said 2022 was his contract year? Let's talk about that contract.
and who's more respectable to talk on this topic than the face of the Phillies, Mr. Bryce Harper himself.
Oh my gosh, chat, that was sick.
It's the name of the game now. Guys are getting what they're worth. It more shocks me that a guy like Aaron Judge didn't get more than what he got. 9 years, $360 million. Now I get it. $360 million and underpaid should never be uttered in the same sentence. However, I fear Judge may be an exception. According to Fangraphs, one WAR equals about $8 million.
So far in his contract, Judge has accumulated 20.8 WAR. That means he's roughly been worth $165 million. How much did he make in that time? About $100 million. Give or take that, as 2025 is only halfway done. So in short, even with that monster contract, he has still been underpaid around $65 million.
And mind you, in 2023, he was injured. I find it crazy how surprisingly team-friendly Judge's contract is. I mean, especially when he could have gotten more money in San Fran or San Diego, but still stuck with NY. I'm gonna be honest, this whole idea for this video came from the thought that a lot of Yankee fans have gotten a little too comfortable with Judge's level of production. I remember hearing from older fans that when Mariano Rivera retired, there was a hole in the team. People now are to face a world where they didn't have the best reliever to ever pitch close out every game. That expectation of having the best as a constant was really felt when that constant was gone. What I'm trying to say is that picture this team without Aaron Judge. You might say, well, of course that sounds bad. We built this team around him. And I would argue back that Judge isn't just any star you build around. This is not a talent that comes around every decade to be the core of your team. This is an all-time player. This is a name that will be spoken about for decades to come. A name that will have as much movement as the Mick or Babe. As of recording this video, over his last 822 plate appearances, Aaron Judge is hitting .363 with 72 homers and a 1.249 OPS and a 242 weighted runs created plus. Aaron Judge is in a territory that no one thought was possible to get into again. He is, dare I say, in Bonds territory. And for an entire season sample at this point now. What I'm getting at is I doubt you'll have this level of consistency for a long, long time. If you are a Yankee fan or you're just a fan of baseball in general, to take a step back and really look at this man's baseball reference. Compare it to other players. Hell, compare his OPS pluses to all-time greats. I'll give you a taste before I finally shut up. I know, this video's long. Ken Griffey Jr.'s highest OPS plus was 171. Albert Pujols, 192. Mike Trout, 198. A-Rod, 176. Mickey Mantle, 221.
And Aaron Judge so far has a career high OPS plus of 223.
The next time you turn on a game, really admire this man's play. Take a watch, because this could just be the best player you'll ever see. And by the way, this may just turn out to be a better season than 24, but we'll speak on that in a future video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And on a real note, this is like the first video we have on this channel. And I say we because my cousin is currently not with us in this video. He's alive, don't worry. But I was fucking... But in the next video, he will be. And I'm very much looking forward to that. If you liked me in this video, or if you've seen Gabe in the SRS video, please subscribe or like the video if you already are subscribed. Have a good one. Be safe. I'll see you next time.